Welcome to the Mountain Magnolia Show, where your hosts Mary Noble Braden and Leanne Lewis will introduce you to Swannanoa Valley's most interesting and most iconic individuals.
What a beautiful day today is. We are here again with the Mountain Magnolias. We got Leanne Lewis from Atlantic Bay Mortgage and myself, Mary Noble Braden from Noble & Company Realty. And we have an amazing guest today. We've got the original Bob Hinkle from the White Horse and Black. He's got some incredible stories to tell us. We can't wait to share our guest with you.
Yes, Mary Noble, I am so excited about this afternoon and speaking with Bob and sharing all the love about the White Horse and its history and nostalgia. And I have to start off, Bob, by saying my daughter, well, thank you for having open mic.
Oh, sure.
Because my daughter attends every Tuesday. She's one of the performers.
Okay.
And she has this beautiful light every Tuesday because I know where she's fixing to go is the White Horse.
Well, we're happy to have her. Keep her coming.
Absolutely. And thank you for coming. And one of the first questions...
It's not hard. I'm right across the street.
I know, okay. Right? It was a great walk. You had some sunshine, vitamin D injections today. One of the questions, the first question we always like to ask our guest is, well, usually what brought you to Black Mountain, but you're a local. Is that right?
Well, let's see. How long do you have?
Well, we can have two segments.
I was born in Miami Beach. My father was in the Navy. My mother got tired of Miami Beach, and she wanted to come back to the mountains where we started.
I get that.
So we ended up staying with my aunt, who owned a house on Old 70 East, right out the way here. Mm-hmm. And I was about 2, I guess. So that's the first time I lived in Black Mountain.
Okay.
And then the last time was about 16 and a half years ago when I moved back after living in New York and being in the music business for about 40 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And came back to, felt like coming home. And after,
40 years.
After
wow.
2 or 3 months, I stopped saying, this is good, when are we going home? And started saying, we're home.
So 40 years in the music industry in New York.
Yep, and another 20 elsewhere.
Oh, my goodness. So... Well, Mary Noble, I'll let you chime in here now that I've had his time so far.
Well, we want to talk about the White Horse, but first, I really am interested in hearing about the stories in New York, the folks that you actually helped in the music industry. I know you might need a couple hours, but just some basic information for the audience. So interesting, all the stories just in 10 minutes I've been here listening. So what can you tell the audience about your experience helping others in New York?
Well, let's see. The first thing probably to say is I started as a recording artist, made records, was in bands, was charted a couple of times, only almost made it list several times, and sort of transitioned into becoming a personal manager. And in that role, at various times in various ways, managed the Jay Giles Band and Harry Chapin and Tom Chapin, Manfred Mann and the Earth Band, sort of in a co-management role with Kenny Rogers, Dottie West, Gallagher, M. Carnes. There's a few I'm not remembering, but a lot of folks. I wasn't always happy, but I was never bored.
I can imagine. Who was your favorite?
I get that question a lot, and I guess it depends. The real answer is it depends on when you ask me.
Okay.
Right, at the moment, I found myself listening to this English band called Naked Eyes, which I managed for a little while.
Okay.
They had this always something there to remind me.
Oh, yeah.
Hit.
Nice.
So moved in here without having any idea what I wanted to do. I just knew 40 years was a long time to be in New York or anywhere else, and moved back. Ended up talking to our good friend Bob McMurray down at the Chamber of Commerce,
right.
whose father owned the current White Horse building.
Okay.
And so he said at the end of the meeting, he had Googled me, I think, and realized that I was a crazy music business person. So he took us over to the building, and he opened the door, and it was a huge mess. God, it was awful. But I saw a wooden ceiling. I saw an arched ceiling. So I realized this was going to be good for the sound.
Great.
And I guess the other side, at the end of the ending piece of that story is, about a week before that, my then wife had come down the stairs and said to me, "What's a White Horse Black Mountain?" And I said, I don't know why. She said, well, because I was meditating and it just kept popping into my head.
Oh my gosh.
So when McMurray took us into the building there, I had Kim go out into the middle of the room. She was an opera singer, and give us a good IC, which she did, and the room took care of it very nicely. So we were standing at the garage door, and we said, she said to me, do you think this is White Horse Black Mountain? And I was about to say, I don't know. And we turned to the big garage door, and on the door was a poster, just average sized poster, with like 6 white horses running across the meadow.
Oh my goodness.
So we thought there's some things in life that should not be ignored.
That's right.
And we were open 7 months later.
You know, that is a great story. I do not believe in coincidences.
No, I mean,
You know, everything happens,
Yep.
cliche as it is. The universe brings us these messages, and
Yep.
and you guys said yes.
Well, it didn't seem like there was anything else to say.
I agree.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a really clear message. There was no I don't knows. Don't you love that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's rare you get that kind of clarity, so pay attention.
That's wonderful. All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about the White Horse. So, what year was that when you opened the White Horse?
2008, into the jaws of the recession.
I remember those years really well as a business owner here in Black Mountain. Back then, it was Bella Blooms. So, all right, now moving forward to 2024, tell us a little bit about the White Horse, what you offer. I know recently y'all changed your structure, but tell us how things look in 2024.
How they got to be where they are. Right. Well, first thing to know probably is that White Horse Black Mountain is a listening room, and which is getting to be kind of a rarity these days. There's not that many of them left around. And so it's almost all live entertainment, and it's from just about every genre you can possibly imagine. We are, if nothing else, totally eclectic in what we do. We do a lot of folk. We do some rock, not all that much. We do a lot of Celtic, some classical, pretty much you name it, we do it, and have been doing so for these 15 plus years. And I think I haven't ever finished the count, but I think we're edging up towards about 3,000 shows that we've done in all of this time. So I'm really only 19. I just look like this.
Hey, I completely understand. You look great. And the stories so far are amazing. Well, what about the structure that y'all have recently changed where you can join as a club member?
That's right. We've become a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm fond of saying, people ask me all these years if I was a nonprofit, and I always said not on purpose. But now I am on purpose. It's been wonderful so far. We had the reaction of the town and otherwise has been really, really supportive. And I feel like we're on the right track, doing the right thing at the right time. Our return from COVID was not as slow as I was afraid it would be. People started coming back pretty much right away, and they kept on coming. So we've had a really good parade of new people coming in and wanting to be a part of the 501c3, and that's really what I'm always asking everybody to do at this point. You can go to the website, whitehorseblackmountain.com, and figure out how to do it. There are various levels that you can join at, and you get a lot of graft. You get a lot of free tickets, and we do a free show once a month for the members. You get I didn't wear mine today, but you get a nice little White Horse pin that you get. All sorts of stuff, and it's been. We have food. There's food involved. Mostly, I mean, we all eat, so. And I try not to.
That'll draw a crowd.
Yeah, and I try not to buy food, so we have a lot served in there.
Exactly. I'm so impressed at your website. So, meaning you have so many cool things going on. Hymns and beer, or beer and hymns. That's
hymns.
Awesome.
Well,
have it beer with Jesus. There's a song about that.
Well, you got to remember the wine thing.
There you go.
Change the water to wine.
That's really neat.
I always say that Jesus was the most economical winemaker in history.
I think it's wonderful.
Before we end the show, we do want to talk a little bit more about his past experiences. All right, Bob. So tell us the deep, dark secrets about the Olsen twins, what it was like being on the road with these girls.
Okay, well, I could go on for a while. I had a record label, a kids and family record label called Zoom Express, and we were the releasing company for audio and video for Mary Kate and Ashley. And I found them because I had my label populated with artists, but I think I needed one more thing, one more sort of ribbon on the package. And I went and looked at TVQ, which is a survey that television industry does, not about the actors, but about the characters they play. So they want to know who the most popular roles are. And in those days, in the mid-'90s, the lead guy was always Dr. Huxtable, Bill Cosby. But number two in all those years was the character of Michelle, which is what Mary Kate and Ashley played on Full House. So I figured, okay, this is it. And having gone through a whole bunch of negotiations with a very difficult lawyer, finally made the deal. Put out their first record, which was called Brother for Sale, based on the idea that they had a little brother who was constantly picking on them. So they made up this idea that they would sell him. So they built a lemonade stand, and it said 25 cents marked out 10 cents, marked out 5 cents. And that was the cover of the record.
Wow.
So we did my favorite story of theirs, of many that I could tell, is we were doing the video for Brother for Sale in Los Angeles area, in this lovely house that we'd rented for a day in Pasadena. And the girls showed up sick. They had colds. And they're, at that point, they're 5-year-olds. And it's very difficult to say, just suck it up, because they don't want to do that. So one of the things they were supposed to do was get in like a miniature bi-wing plane and pretend to be piloting the plane while a big fan blew on them and blew their hair back in their scarves so that it looked real. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want the fan blowing on them. Wouldn't do it. That's it. So at about $30,000 for half a day, if not more, I called a 15-minute hiatus and took them both by the hands and sat them under a tree, and we just talked about anything but the airplane. And finally, at the end of the 15 minutes, I said, "So you guys ready to go and do this?" And they said, "Yeah, I guess so." So I had one in each hand. I was walking back to the set, and these two knew my son Zach. He'd substituted for me on the road once or twice. He taught him how to hit a baseball. He taught him how to blow a trumpet. He was a big deal. So they said, "Well, you have any children?" They said to me, and I said, "Well, you know Zach." "Oh yeah, Zach. We like Zach." So, well, one of them said to me, Mary Kate, I think, said to me, "But do you have any girls?" I said, "No, unfortunately, don't have any girls." She looked up at me and she said, "You should." So I figured I must be in the right business, at least for now. That's right. So they were immediately at the end of that day. This was in Minneapolis, so we went to the Mall of America, and they have an indoor roller coaster. So we all went on the roller coaster. I don't like roller coasters. Mary Kate and Ashley live for roller coasters. So I went with them on the roller coaster, got to the end of it, and they both said, as if on cue, "We got to do it again." So we went on about 3 or 4 roller coaster rides before I finally got off and managed to save my lunch and keep it where it was.
That's great.
They were wonderful little kids. They were. They took advantage of the adults, too.
Oh, they know what they're doing.
You couldn't really tell them apart unless you were right up close to them. One had a mole. So they would, you say Mary Kate, and Ashley would show up, and vice versa. So you never really quite knew what was happening. But I liked them. I thought they were good kids.
How long were you with them?
2 to 3 years.
2 or 3 years. So you really did have an opportunity to bond.
Well, as bond.
I mean, and your son, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were.
They'd crawl around my office floor, open up all the drawers, and take the stuff out and see what it was.
Oh,
so
wow.
So I ended up having to salt my office drawers with stuff that they would like. So
That's great. Well, Bob, it's been so great to have you. What an honor to share you with our audience.
Oh, and happy to do it, and thank you for having me.
Oh, it's totally, the pleasure is all ours. And you just have to know how important the White Horse is to Black Mountain. It is such an important piece of museum art, whatever. It's a land, it's just so special to us in the town. Well, Bob, we always like to close out our show with just a challenge. And that challenge is for our audience. What would you recommend to our audience to live a better life? Whether it's a book you've read, whether it's something you do every day, a quote. What can you share to help them live a better life?
That's a good question. There's a few things. I think maybe the prime one that's in my head at the moment is don't get insulated. Don't get too far into yourself. Look out. Look at the world. Look at the other people. See what they're about.
Okay.
And then take the knowledge into yourself and use it as it makes sense.
That's fantastic. So don't be a hermit. A hermit crab?
Right.
Yeah.
And there's different ways to be a hermit, too. So don't be a hermit in any of those ways.
Right.
Or be bendable,
Yeah, flexible. Yeah.
Never thought of that. Wait a second.
That's wonderful. Bob, thank you. Thank you
You're most
so
welcome.
much. And, this is another show, Mary Noble, that we're wrapping up for the Mountain Magnolias, and we will see everyone next time.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for Mountain Magnolias with your hosts, Mary Noble Braden and Leanne Lewis. Join us next time for more interesting stories from the Swannanoa's most interesting people as we give you something to talk about. Mountain Magnolias is a production of Noble & Company Realty in Black Mountain. For more information, please call them at 828-357-5243. 828-357-5243.
The preceding has been a production of Signal Hill Studios. For more information, please call 704-872-0550.